Hello students, in the session we'll discuss about FCIP, that is Fiber Channel IP. So first we'll take FCIP protocol stack. FCIP is a tunneling protocol that enables distributed FC SAN to be connected over the existing IP based networks. So FCIP is nothing but a tunneling protocol that enables distributed FC SAN to be interconnected over the existing IP based network. So we can observe that the protocol stack consisting of application, SCSI commands, data and status, FCP, that is SCSI over FC, FCIP, TCP, IP and the physical medium. So here we can have the FC frame which consisting of start of frame, FC header, SCSI data, CRC as well as end of frame. So this FC frame, that is nothing but under FCIP encapsulation, it is called as IP payload. So an IP packet consisting of IP header, TCP header, FCIP header followed by the IP payload. So IP payload is nothing but this one itself. So after FCIP encapsulation, so this FC frame becomes an IP payload. So usually the IP packet consisting of its header, TCP header as well as FCIP header followed by IP payload. So first we'll take FC frame. Encapsulation of FC frame onto IP packet could cause the IP packet to be fragmented. So here we'll encapsulate the FC frame into an IP packet. So that means nothing but it may cause the IP packet to be fragmented. So we'll divide the IP packet into different fragments. When an IP packet is fragmented, the required part of the header must be copied by all the fragments. So whenever the fragmentation process we are considering at that instant the header will be copied to all the fragments. Suppose the single FC frame is fragmented into 4 different fragments. So same IP header will be copied to all 4 fragments. When a TCP packet is segmented, so the TCP packet is segmented, normal TCP operations are responsible for receiving and resequencing the data prior to passing it on to the FC processing portion of the device. So whenever the TCP packet is segmented, if you are combining the TCP packets together, that means we are segmenting. Normal TCP operations are responsible for receiving as well as resequencing the data. So before passing it on to the FC processing portions of the device. So here we can observe that we are having the FC frame as well as FCIP frame. So how exactly the FC frame is encapsulated into FCIP frame. FCIP topology. FCIP gateway, so these are nothing but FCIP gateways which are connected to each fabric, this is one fabric via a standard FC connection. So here we can observe that we are having the FC SAN to which the FCIP gateway is connected to the FC SAN network. Server and storage arrays are connected. FCIP gateway at one end of the IP network encapsulates the FC frame into IP packets. So that means suppose if this is the gateway, on one end of the gateway, so this is gateway, one end of the gateway, the IP network will encapsulate FC frames into IP packets. On the other end of the gateway, once again IP packets will be converted into FC frames. So we can say that FC IP gateway at one end of the IP network encapsulates the FC frame into IP packet. On the other end, it will remove the IP header, that means IP header, and sends the FC data to the next layer 2 fabric. So fabric treats these gateways as layer 2 fabric switches. IP addresses is assigned to the port on the gateway which is connected to an IP network. So that means the IP addresses is assigned to the port on the gateway. So how I can assign the IP addresses to the gateway? That means by considering to which particular IP network the gateways are connected. So after IP connectivity is established, the nodes in the two independent fabrics can communicate each other. So now the IP connectivity is established so that the nodes can communicate with each other. So the FC IP gateway at one end of the IP network encapsulates the FC frame into IP packets, as I explained before. So it will encapsulate the FC frames into IP packets. On the other end, it removes the IP header so that decapsulates into FC frames again. Fabric treats these gateways as layer 2 fabric switches. An IP address is assigned to the port on the gateway which is connected to an IP network. After the set IP connectivity is established, the nodes within the fabric the nodes in the two different fabrics can communicate with each other. So now the actual connectivity is established so that the nodes can communicate with each other. So FC IP performance and security parameters. Performance, reliability and security should always be taken into consideration while implementing storage solutions. So whenever you are considering any storage solutions, if you are implementing any storage solutions, first I have to take performance, next comes reliability, so next is security measures. The vendors of FC switches have recognized some of the drawbacks related to FC IP and have implemented features to enhance stability, such as capability to segregate the FC IP traffic into separate virtual fabric. Security is also a consideration in an FC IP solution because the data is transmitted over public IP net channels. So always the data is transmitted over public IP channels, so that security is a major aspect. Various security options are available to protect the data based on the router's support. IP security is one of the security measures that can be implemented in the FC IP environment. So we can implement IP security. IP security can be implemented to protect the data. Data center infrastructure after using FCOE, fiber channel over Ethernet. I/O consolidation with FCOE using FCOE switches are converged network adapters. So that is nothing but CNEs. CNEs can be CNEs replaces both HBAs and NICs. host bus adapters as well as network interface cards in the server and consolidates both IP and FC traffics. So consolidates both IP as well as fiber channel traffics. So the FCOE switch passes fiber channel traffic to the SAN and the Ethernet. The traffic to an attached Ethernet network. So here we can observe that we are having the FCOE switches as well as FC switches. So the FCOE switches are connected to the LAN local area network. So if you are considering IO consolidations with respect to FCOE using FCOE switches, so we can make use of adapters. Those adapters are called as converged network adapters. So these adapters will replace both HBA as well as network interface cards. So we can replace the use of HBA as well as network interface cards if you are using CNAs, that is converged network adapters. So the FCOE switch passes fiber channel traffic to the SAN. So here we can observe that the FCOE switch, it will pass the fiber channel traffic to the SAN storage area network and the Ethernet traffic to an attached Ethernet network. So this FCOE switch can be used in order to transfer or forward the Ethernet traffic or else the fiber channel traffic. Components of FCOE. So that means fiber channel over Ethernet network. So we are using CNAs which provides the functionalities of both NIC as well as HBAs in a single adapter and consolidate both types of traffics. CNAs which eliminates the need to deploy separate adapters and cables for FC and Ethernet communication. If you are using CNAs, so it is not mandatory that we have to use now HBA and NICs. So it's not mandatory or deploy a separate adapters like HBA and NIC in order to handle FC frames as well as Ethernet packets. So thereby reducing the required number of server slots and switch ports. So that we can reduce the number of slots in the server as well as the switch ports. CNA offloads the FCOE protocol, fiber channel over Ethernet protocol, processing task from the server, thereby freeing the server CPU resources for application processing. So we can use CNAs in order to offload the FCOE protocol, so which will process the task from the server. Thereby we can free up the server CPU resources for application processing. Next is cables. Currently we are having two options for FCOE cabling. First one is copper based twin AX cable and standard fiber optical cables. Twin AX cable is composed of two pairs of copper cables covered with a shielded casing. The twin AX cable can transmit data speed up to 10 gigabits per second over shorter distance up to 10 meters. So the twin AX cable can transmit the data rate is around 10 gigabits per second over a shorter distance up to 10 meters. So here we can observe that the components of NAS like NFS as well as CIFS, and we are having one network called IP, and we are having NAS head followed by the storage array and the network interface with the protocols. So the NAS head includes the following components. The first is CPU and the memory. The NAS head, which is associated with the storage array, which consisting of CPU as well as memory. One or more network interface cards, that is NICs, which provides connectivity to the client network. For example, the network protocol supported by NIC includes Gigabit Ethernet, Fast Ethernet, ATM, Fiber Distributed Data Interface, etc. An optimized operating system for managing the NAS functionality. It translates file level request into block level storage request. So in the an optimized operating system for managing the NAS functionality, so which will translate file level request into block level storage. So file to block level conversion. So NFS and CIFS are the other protocols for file sharing. Industry standard storage protocols and ports to connect and manage physical disk resources is also available. So next we'll take NAS IO operation. The requester is also called as a client, packages an IO request into TCP bar IP and forwards it through the network stack. The NAS device receives this request from the network. So initially the client will place its request and it will pass that IO request into the TCP bar IP. It will forward the request through the network stack. So now the NAS device will receive this request from the network. So then the NAS device will convert the IO request into an appropriate physical storage request. So the NAS device will convert the request which was placed by the client. It will convert that request into appropriate physical storage request. Physical storage request. So NAS device will convert the request from the client into the physical storage request. So which is block level IO, and then performs the operations on the physical storage. When the NAS device receives the data from the storage, it processes and repackages the data into an appropriate file protocol response. The NAS device packages this response into TCP bar IP again and forward it to the client through the network. So the NAS device receives the data from the storage. So once again the NAS device will get the data from the storage. It processes and repackages the data into an appropriate file protocol response. So once again it will repackage the data so that the NAS device can transmit or response into TCP bar IP again, and it will forward it into the client through the network. So here we can observe that how exactly the NAS IO operations can be considered. So initially the client will place its request during step 1. During step 1, the client or requester will place its request. So now the NAS device will convert, so this one, the NAS device will convert the request which was placed by the client into the physical request, so which is block level IO. So when later the NAS device once again receives the data from the storage, it processes and repackages the data into appropriate file protocol response. So now the NAS device has the data. So this device has the data now. NAS device has the data. So that data will be once again transferred into the client. So that means the NAS device packages this response into TCP/IP again and forward it to the client through the network. Through the network, the data will be transmitted into the client. So next we'll take NAS file sharing protocols. So we are having two protocols like NFS and CIFS. So NFS is a client server protocol for file sharing. So we'll use the NFS protocol in order to share the files. So that is commonly used on Unix systems. NFS was originally based on the connectionless user datagram protocol. So NFS was originally based on user datagram protocol. It uses a machine independent model to represent user data. So it uses machine independent model in order to represent the user data. So it also uses remote procedure calls, that is nothing but, what is the meaning of remote procedure call? That is nothing but RPC. RPC as a method of inter-process communication between any two computers. So the second NAS file sharing protocol, that is CIFS. So the CIFS is a client server application protocol that enables client programs to make requests for files and services on remote computers over TCP/IP. So it is a public or open variation of server message block protocol. So either the protocol may be public or open variation of server message block protocol, that is nothing but SMB protocol. So under NAS file sharing, we can consider two protocols like NFS and CIFS. So both protocols, the NFS is a client server protocol for file sharing applications and which was originally based on user datagram protocol. And the CIFS, that is the other protocol, is also a client server application protocol that enables client programs to make requests for files and services on remote computers over TCP and IP.